I'll never forget the first time Karen marched up to my door, clipboard in hand, fake smile plastered across her face like she was running for office. We'd only been in our new home for a week, and I thought she was there to welcome us. Instead, she immediately started pointing out violations. The kicker? Our house wasn't even part of the HOA. We'd bought the property specifically because it was outside their control. Still, Karen didn't care. She was determined to drag us under her rule. Before we dive in, comment which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story travels. She started small, telling me my mailbox didn't meet community standards. I politely explained that our property wasn't part of the HOA, even offered to show her the paperwork proving it, but she just laughed and handed me a binder of rules thicker than a phone book. Every week after that, she was back. Landscaping one week, porch lights the next, even the height of my hedges. Each time I reminded her we weren't under her jurisdiction, and each time she grew more irritated. Soon it wasn't just annoying visits, it was harassment. She began leaving violation notices taped to our mailbox, as if her word carried legal weight. Then came the photos. I'd spot her on the street, snapping pictures of our home like a detective gathering evidence. One afternoon, she even blocked our driveway with her golf cart, while she measured the bushes with a tape measure. When I asked her to move, she gave me a 20-minute lecture on community responsibility. The breaking point came when we received a certified letter demanding $750 in supposed HOA fines. That was the moment I decided enough was enough. I installed a wrought iron security gate at the end of our driveway. It wasn't fancy, but it was clear our property was private. That single act sent Karen into a frenzy. She began leaving voicemails demanding the gate code, ranting about emergency access, and quoting made-up community codes. She threatened legal action and even claimed she had a right of inspection. My wife, Elaine, who works as a 911 dispatcher, told me we might need a restraining order if it kept up. What I didn't realize then was that Karen was already planning her most dangerous stunt yet, one that would turn her own arrogance against her. The morning started quietly, but by 10 a.m., Karen was at our gate, hammering the buzzer like her finger was glued to it. I checked the security camera, and there she stood, red-faced and full of entitlement. I reluctantly answered the intercom. "You need to open this gate immediately," she snapped. "I've received a complaint, and I'm here to conduct an inspection." "Karen," I said as calmly as possible, spurs, "we're not part of the HOA. You have no authority here. Please stop harassing us." Her eyes narrowed. "Don't you dare question my authority. I've been president of this association for 7 years. Open this gate now, or there will be consequences." I sighed and muted the intercom. It should have ended there. But about 20 minutes later, the security system pinged again. Karen was pacing by the gate, phone pressed to her ear, gesturing toward our house like she was directing traffic. I unmuted the audio just in time to hear her voice. "Yes, I need police immediately. I heard screaming inside this home and they won't open the gate. Someone could be hurt." My stomach dropped. She wasn't just pestering us anymore. She was calling in a fake emergency. Filing a false police report isn't just petty. It's a crime that can carry fines and even jail time. If you're enjoying this HOA story so far, like and subscribe because the story is only going to get better. I grabbed my phone and tried calling my wife, Elaine. No answer. She was on duty, and I knew personal calls were rare during her shifts. All I could do was watch Karen parade in front of the gate, occasionally glancing at the camera with a smug little smile. She thought she had finally found the hammer to break us. What Karen didn't know and couldn't have known was that Elaine had answered her call. My wife had recognized her voice instantly. She knew our address, knew the long history of harassment, and most importantly, knew there was no emergency. Protocol required that she still dispatch officers, but she quietly flagged the report as suspicious and noted Karen's repeated false claims. Instead of a full emergency response, it was logged as a welfare check. 10 minutes later, a cruiser pulled up. Karen rushed to greet the officers, pointing dramatically at our home. She was certain victory was in her grasp. But as one officer touched his earpiece, listening to Elaine's notes, I could already see the shift in his face. I stepped out through the gate to meet the officers, ID in hand. "Good morning, officers. I'm the homeowner. There's no emergency here. This woman has been harassing us for months because we won't submit to HOA rules that don't even apply to our property." One officer nodded, but then touched his earpiece again, listening closely. His expression changed, hardening as he turned toward Karen. "Ma'am," he said evenly, "dispatch is telling us this is a false report. There's no emergency at this address." Karen's smug grin faltered, but she doubled down, voice rising into that familiar shrill pitch. That's impossible. I heard screaming. They're hiding something in there. The officer glanced at me. Sir, is your wife Elaine Miller? I nodded, confused. She's the dispatcher who took this call. She recognized the caller and provided context about an ongoing pattern of harassment. For the first time, Karen's mask cracked. That's not true. She's just covering for her husband. I know what I heard. The second officer stepped forward. Ma'am, all 911 calls are recorded. Your exact words were logged. You claim to hear screaming. Yet, dispatch flagged this as suspicious because you've made similar false claims before. Filing a false emergency report is a crime. You could have diverted police resources away from a real victim. Neighbors had gathered on the street, whispering and watching. Karen's eyes darted nervously, but there was no escape. Karen Wilkins, the officer said firmly, you're under arrest for filing a false police report and misuse of emergency services. He read her rights as he guided her toward the cruiser. This is ridiculous, she shouted, struggling against the cuffs. I'm the president of the Homeowners Association. You can't arrest me for protecting the neighborhood. But they could, and they did. As she was loaded into the patrol car, one of my neighbors, an older gentleman, approached me quietly. We've all wanted to say something about her for years. Nobody had the courage. Thank you. 3 weeks later in court, the verdict was clear. Guilty. Karen was fined heavily, put on probation, and ordered to complete community service. A restraining order barred her from ever contacting us again. The HOA itself voted her out unanimously. Her reign ended overnight. Watching her escorted out of that meeting, stunned and speechless, I realized something. Sometimes the truth doesn't just set you free. It puts tyrants in handcuffs.